Hey there, I tried to hit a button. How's it going, everybody? It's 42121, and this is the Flipping America RIA meeting for Wednesday, the 21st of April. It's 42121. That's a pretty cool day. Glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. And we are live on Facebook and YouTube right now. So we appreciate you taking time to be here. This is a networking event for the Flipping America RIA. And it's the best we can do. You know, with the pandemic, we can't get together in person, and our local groups are not together in person today that I know of. But we have 30 chapters scattered across the country. If you are in one of the local chapters, just contact your chapter leader for when you're going to start back meeting, you know, as we open up and get together. This will be a meeting that you'll watch while you're together at lunch. And if you don't have a chapter in your area, guess what? You can start one. You don't need any special skills, maybe just the same skills that you would use in organizing a birthday party. Just get together with a group of people. When you do a networking event, we provide the formula and kind of how to go through and lead the meeting. The hardest thing is to have the content. But fortunately, we are exceedingly blessed to have some of the top real estate investors around the United States dropping in on us from week to week and visiting with us and sharing their wisdom. And so the content will be provided for you. That's every Wednesday. So in time, you'll be able to, you know, go to a local group and meet, and then tune into to this show coming out of our studios here in Atlanta, Georgia. Or if you still can't get to a local meeting, or if you're uncomfortable getting out or whatever, we'll always be here. All right. Now, somebody asked me, one of our local leaders asked me yesterday if at any point we're going to charge for these meetings, or how's that going to work? Just thinking about monetizing all of this. We don't really have any plans to charge for our weekly meetings. I don't see that changing anytime in the near future. So, especially if we're doing just the live stream on YouTube and Facebook, you know, we make a pretty good living in real estate. And so we don't have to, you know, kind of nickel and dime you. We do hope that you will jump in and support and join the Flipping America RIA as time goes by. And as we give a lot of value to you, that you'll support us and help keep going so we can build out some other things that we would like to do through the RIA. I think that probably for the remainder of 2021, and this is not anything like a hard plan, it's just an idea. We just launched our YouTube channel, sort of a relaunch of it, but as we're trying to build up subscribers and views and so forth, we're going to do these live meetings, and we're going to leave them up on the YouTube channel. But maybe by the time we get to 2022, we will have enough views and so forth that we'll start taking down these videos after a few days and putting them behind the paywall with the Flipping America RIA members, where the members can access them, you know, for all time, and just have little snippets of the show here. That's sort of the plan, but you know, when you only have sort of a plan, it's really likely to change. When you have a firm plan, it's somewhat likely to change, but if it's only sort of a plan, you never can really tell exactly what's going to happen. All right. Now, today I am the guest speaker today, and I thank you for being here, even though you knew that was going to happen. And I'm going to share with you some things that, well, just the thoughts that work in my brain to keep me motivated and keep me doing what I do and thinking what I think. And here's something that maybe you ought to keep in mind. In 2017, in January of 2017, Flipping America was not a thing. Everything that is Flipping America, the top-rated podcast, radio shows, coast to coast, the Flipping America RIA, the Flipping America Academy, the Flipping America Network, the Flipping America Buyers Club, all of those things have happened within the last 4 years. And all of them began with a thought. I want you to keep that in mind. All right. And I want you to also keep in mind, some of you know my story. You know that in 2012, I started a process to vastly expand my business. And by 2014, I'd gone the other direction and imploded. And in 2015, I was on the verge of bankruptcy. I ruined my life. I ruined my business. I lost millions of dollars because I was overconfident and I tried to take everything too far. And it didn't work out. So I was in start over mode. So if you have made a mistake in your life or in your business, you're not alone. What I've discovered over the years is a lot of people who have done really significant things in life and business have persevered through failures. And we get around some of those mental roadblocks. Okay. So, what I'm going to share with you in just a few minutes today comes out of my own journey, my own pain, and hopefully it can lift you up, encourage you, and help you to start a thought that will start a process that maybe will lead to a business that maybe will take a little bit of a lane change when the opportunity presents itself and ultimately result in the life that you dream of. That's what I'm hoping for. And so that's what I'm going to share with you in just a few minutes today. But first of all, we must do the pledge to ourselves. I don't make any comments about the whole pledge to the flag controversy. I believe America is still the greatest country on earth. I'm grateful to have been born here. But our pledge at the Flipping America RIA is a pledge to ourselves. Okay, and so here's the pledge. Oh, and it says video file not found. I don't know what's up with that, so maybe we're not going to play the pledge today. How did that happen? I don't know. I'm looking over at the staff. Hey, Rebecca. Hey, nice to see you, Rebecca and Tracy. Good to see y'all. And so, since we're not going to have the pledge here, and I don't even have it prepared over on the presentation, I don't know what happened with that. I just don't know what to say because we normally practice every scene and every video and every single thing before we come on here. And the one day that I don't go through every one of those things is the one day that video file is missing. I don't know. Maybe we'll find it. We'll have it by tomorrow night anyway. But what I can do is I can do the announcements. All right. Maybe I can do the announcements. I don't even know something is really going on here with this. Wow. Let's try this frame. All right. I can do the announcements this way. Goodness. Okay. This is the Flipping America RIA, and this is the topic for today. Let me make a little adjustment to the size of that to fit it in here a little bit better. Maybe. There we go. Man, I'm having the technical difficulties today. It's kind of embarrassing. All right. This is what we're going to talk about today. Get your head in the game. I'm going to get my head in the game in a minute. Now, tomorrow night, we are talking about unsecured business lines of credit with Bill Jennings. You may remember I had him on a couple months ago, and we just introduced you to him, and even then I knew I wanted him to come back and do a full presentation. Mindful of your own credit scores, he helps you get lines of credit for your business that are tied to your business and don't affect your personal credit score. Your personal credit score is used to get approval for these lines, but after that, it's a business line, and it's opportunities for you to, well, depending on your credit and your situation, what you can get approved for, you could raise $50,000 to $100,000 to use in your business, maybe use for down payments for hard money loans, use them to put down earnest money for something that you want to wholesale, or in the cases of some of the properties that we buy, you could just buy the entire property and hang on to it till you sell it, and just use these lines of credit to do that. So tomorrow night, Bill is coming, and he is going to talk about how he can secure these lines of credit. There is a process to it, and it's not as straightforward as it might seem. You could probably go do some of these things yourself if you really had a mind to, but Bill does it in the right order, so it minimizes the impact on your credit score, and he'll explain all that tomorrow night. If you have one of these Alexa-enabled devices, one of the Amazon Echoes, then this is a neat little trick. You can just say, hey, Alexa, play the podcast Flipping America, and it will play the last show that we just did. This is Flipping America. It is, first of all, a coast-to-coast broadcast 3 times a week, Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, AM and FM stations all across the country. After it airs, we turn it into a podcast. It's released on 35 internet platforms, and we're averaging about 1.5 million listeners per month between the broadcast and the podcast. That's kind of cool. This is the Flipping America RIA, a meeting that happens twice a week. Live stream meetings like this on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays at 12:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Central, and Thursdays at 7:30 Eastern and 6:30 Central. On Wednesdays, it's more of a conversation. We tend to have other little bits and segments in, and Thursdays, it's more in-depth, kind of like what we're going to have tomorrow night. You know, Bill's going to make a presentation and show us a lot of detail, and Thursdays go a little bit longer. But we have this content for you every week except for the first week of the year, Easter week, Memorial Day week, July 4th or Independence Day week, Labor Day week, and then from Thanksgiving to Christmas, we are off. So that means that we get in about 80 to 83 live meetings a year, a ton of content, a ton of value, and that's what we do with the Flipping America RIA. The Flipping America Academy is, it's on a slow roll right now, rolling out courses in real estate investing, some of them by me, most of them that are in there now are by me, and some by others, and we'll be bringing in other instructors as well. And the purpose for this is to give you a complete online education in investing in real estate. The Flipping America Buyers Club is a done-for-you service where we are buying investment properties all across the country that basically are just an investment in cash flow. They are small, inexpensive houses, and we typically buy them for less than $20,000. And we seller finance them to someone local as is. They fix them up. It's a beautiful business model. We teach you how to do it in the Buyers Club. Buyers Club is an exclusive membership. The membership is not always open, but just to let you know, we are going to open up in May, and we're going to take up to 25 or 30 more members in the month of May. So mark your calendars, and if you want to join, you can find information about the Buyers Club on our websites, and you can be ready to join. And, you know, if you really were itching to get in the club, you might be able to reach out to me and sweet talk me into letting you in before that, because May is just a couple weeks away. So the reason we limit the membership is we want to make sure that we can find plenty of houses. And what's been our challenge here lately is we typically buy foreclosure houses from the online auction sources, and there haven't been that many foreclosures in the last year. So we're limiting our membership until we can get our inventory back up to where it needs to be, so that way everybody in the club can have a shot at buying a house or two a week if that's what they want. Then the trading platform, the Flipping America Network. It is in development, it is coming, and you know, we got real close to releasing it like in 1st of April, and then we backed up to the 1st of May, and then a couple weeks ago I thought, you know what, guys, I said this to the team, we've got a couple of little things here where it's probably good enough to put out there, but I want it to be fantastic when we put it out there. So let's take a little time, and it's going to take another month or so, and let's fix these issues, even though it's going to cost us even a little bit more money and time and so forth. But when it releases, I think it's going to be something really cool. A place for wholesalers and home sellers to post a property and get it sold. This is not for home sellers who can sell their house through a realtor. We recommend the use of realtors whenever you can. But if you've got a situation where the house is it's damaged, or it's difficult, or there's some situation where you need to get out of it fast and you need a cash buyer, then we've got a place for you to post a property and get multiple offers from investors within the first 48, 72 hours. And wholesalers, of course, will be using this platform primarily to post their properties. Cash buyers will be there. It's very convenient. You'll be able to buy properties and go to contract through DocuSign on your phone. And yeah, a lot of cool stuff built into this thing, and that's coming up one of these days. That's all I'm going to say about that. All right, I hope that you'll consider joining the Flipping America RIA. First of all, just to support the cause, but you get access, like I talked about, you get access to some other resources now, like all of last year, which is not on the YouTube channel, 90 presentations last year, and we are gradually getting it into the membership portal on the website, and then discounts on our courses. And of course, you get the opportunity to network with people around the country. You also have the opportunity to lead your own local chapter if you want to. Would love to see Another 30 chapters start up this year. And you can join for $99 a year. That's the level you have to join at if you want the discounts on the courses. And the course discounts are pretty significant. You get a 15% discount. So you can get your money's worth if you take 3 or 4 courses. But if you want to, you can join for $10 a month. And $10 a month is a level that will allow you to show your support. Now, the link, let me go back if I can. Oh, yeah, there it is, bit.ly/FARRIA join. When you go to that link, you're going to see some various membership types. If you're interested in leading a local group, then you can find out there what's involved and what it costs. And we have other memberships as well. You can check them out by going to that link, bit.ly/FARRIA join. And now this is the topic for today. And the topic is get your head in the game, and I am going to switch to the main camera for a minute because I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, I'm basically going to set this up for you, okay? We just came through March Madness. And by the way, if you have questions at any point during this whole thing, put them in the comments. I will see them there, and I'll try to answer your questions as we go along. And I would like for today to be a little bit more of a conversation, a little back and forth. If you would, please just say hello or talk to me or whatever, and I'll try to pay attention to that. I do see them, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. I see the comments that come in here. Okay, March Madness, NCAA basketball tournament. Even people that don't pay much attention to basketball usually get interested in NCAA March Madness and the brackets and all of that thing. And I'm not going to bore you with a whole lot of analysis there, but I do like basketball, and I follow it, and I watch college basketball all year long. And it's not that well known, perhaps, but I played college basketball. And the scary part about it is I'm so old that when I played college basketball, they didn't have three-point shots. That's right. That was a long time ago. And that makes me feel old just to say that. And I played in a lower league, not the Division I thing that you see with all these schools. All right. I played in a lower league that our postseason only had 16 teams. And that was it. We didn't have a 64 bracket and so forth. We just had 16 teams. And we had my senior year, we had a pretty good season. And in our league, we were fairly dominant. And we had won several games by 20 or 30 points. And so we went to the postseason tournament for the first time. And we were seeded number 2 in our region in the postseason, and that was awesome. Well, I think it was the only region really. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to how everything went, except we were expected to go far in this tournament, and our real challenge was going to come from a school in Pennsylvania that we had been told by common opponents that they were better than us, but I was looking forward to taking them on. Anyway, in our first game of that tournament, we faced a school, a tiny little school. I mean, we were a tiny little school too, called Kentucky Christian. They didn't have a player on their team that was taller than 6'1". We had not met them in the regular season, but we walked out there on the court. I'm 6'5", and I played guard. Our front line was 6'6", 6'7", and 6'7". And so, except for our point guard, everyone on our starting lineup was taller than everyone on their team. And so we were thinking, all right. We did the warm-up thing, went back to the locker room, and then I sensed something going on. I was the only senior on the team. We had a couple of juniors, but mostly sophomore and freshmen on this team. So the future looked bright for the school, but this was really important to me because it was my last year. One of the sophomores got himself all worked up, and he gave pregame speeches that he had never given before. And he was come on, guys, this is win or go home, this is it, win or go home. Basically, he was putting a lot of pressure on himself, and he wasn't even a starter, and he put a lot of pressure on everyone else, I guess, and we went out and played tense. And the long version of the story is, or the short version of the story is, we lost. But before we ended up losing that game, the coach called a timeout in the first half, We came over there, and he yelled at us for the entire timeout. And I don't remember everything that he said, but the essence of it was, get your head in the game. And if you've ever played sports, if you've ever had an off day, you've heard somebody yell that at some point, a coach or maybe your parents, get your head in the game. And I was sitting there listening to the coach. He was going on and he was just yelling. I mean, he was so frustrated, and I felt the frustration because I was frustrated at what was going on out there on the court. And but what I noticed, I kind of could step back a little bit in my philosopher brain. I was saying, hey, coach, how about telling us some things about how to get our head in the game? How can we fix this? What can we do? It would have been a lot more helpful if he'd said, okay, this is what you've been doing, and here's what you need to do starting right now. Let's go do this, this, and this right here. But he didn't say any of that. Instead, he was just yelling at us, and I guess hoping that that would fix it. All right. So that was a long time ago, and I've spent a lot of time since then trying to figure out how to get my head in the game. And I tell you what I'm going to do, because Chip has just joined us. Now I've set you up, and in a few minutes I'm going to go through the practical steps. But first I want to bring in our sponsor, Chip Cagle with Bay Mountain Capital. And let me assign you to guest number 1 there. And Chip, let's see if this technology will work today, because I've had problems with all the technology today. Hey, man.
Hey, Roger. I'm down in South Beach, Florida.
Yep.
And just took a bike ride and got back a little bit late because I took a wrong turn.
Oh.
Ended up going down. Had to work my way back 14 streets. So that's why I'm a little late getting on here. Sorry about that.
That's okay, man.
Yeah.
Nice day to be out, I guess. It turned off cold in Atlanta. It's cold right now.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
It's not cold here in the mid 80s.
Yeah. All right.
But so, I'll be back there late.
Big thanks to Bay Mountain Capital. You guys are making loans for our club members all across the southeastern United States. So what you got for us today? You got a story or some lowering rates?
Well, because I got back late, I didn't prepare one for you, but I'll just tell you. You remember about a month ago, we were talking about a deal down on Lake Jodico, which is in Jonesboro, Georgia. And we were just about to close that, and a title issue came up. So, I always tell people that there's only a few things that end up taking us longer than the 2 weeks we strive for. And one of them is the appraisals. Sometimes those take a little bit longer than we would like. So, that's in third-party hands. But the other one is title issues. There's nothing we can do about that. So here we are a month later, and now we should be closing on it. I think it's closing today, as a matter of fact.
All right. Remind us all of the numbers, because it's been a little while.
Don't have them right in front of me, but if I remember correctly, the loan amount was somewhere around $800,000, and the after repair value was $1.2 million.
Yeah,
he wasn't getting 100% loan, but he was coming pretty close. I think he had to have like 50,000, which sounds like a lot to some people, but for that size project, that's not that big.
Yeah,
right?
And of course, tomorrow night we're going to learn how you can have 50,000 sitting there for your down payment, or I've got another source for you as well. We're actually going to create a landing page on my website somewhere to help you get gap funding to make these deals happen, if that's what you need.
Yeah.
But now this is a big rehab project he's going to do, right? He's going to pop the top.
Yeah, he's going to pop the top, put a second floor on. I went down there Monday before I left town to see it, and it's just a one level right now. Not a very large house, so this will be great to add quite a bit of square footage. Beautiful house, though. I'm right there on the lake with nice boat dock and a good gazebo.
Yeah. For those of you that are not familiar with this area, there are two lakes right next to each other. Really, it's kind of, they share the water. The only thing that separates them is a bridge. That's right. And it's Jodico Road. And on, I guess, the south side of that bridge, I guess Jodico Road heads east and west. So on the south side of it is Lake Jodeco, and that was the first to be developed back in the 60s and 70s. And
Hmm.
so they were grand homes that were built then, but they're not grand by today's standards. And
Right.
so there's a real opportunity there to buy them. You can basically just about pay retail for them, and you know, 700 or 800 would be retail, and fix it up, make it modern, pop the top. We've even
Hmm.
seen a couple of teardowns and rebuilds on Lake Jodeco because Lake Spivey came along later on, and it's right across the bridge. And really, I think it's all the same water. You know,
Okay.
it's a two lakes created by the same dam. But
It is.
Lake Spivey was developed later with bigger lots and unbelievable houses, like
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar houses. And a multi-million-dollar house in Clayton County, Georgia, is kind of an amazing thing. We're talking
It is.
8,000 square foot houses, a couple of 10,000 square foot, and a few famous people live on Lake Spivey,
That's right.
including
Sports athletes and
including the gentleman, a friend of mine, who happens to run Chick-fil-A.
yep, that's right.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Bubba
And then
Cassidy lives.
some of the TV announcers are down there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's an interesting place.
I think Lake Spivey is fully developed now, and but when it was still developing, a lot cost $1 million, and
Hmm.
just to pay that much for a lot in Clayton County, Georgia, is kind of a mind-boggling thing. But
It
so
is.
this is a very nice area, and there's an opportunity right there to make some money. So I'm glad to
Yeah,
hear that.
so he's probably going to make 120,000
Yeah,
if he sells it for what it appraised for.
yeah,
Now, he may try to sell it for more than
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's all right. If you can get one of those every month, it'd be all right.
That would be good. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Pay his
Great. So
bills.
I'm going to put my information in the chat, Roger. What our rates and terms are and where we lend.
Okay.
So look for it there if you want to
All right.
contact me.
One of the things I like about Bay Mountain, everybody, is they do a feasibility study to make sure that, well, they're protecting their interests, but they're also protecting yours. They're going to keep you from doing a
Yeah.
bad deal. So Bay Mountain is a good place to turn, and Chip is a great person to turn to because uh, Bay Mountain doesn't loan in all 50 states, but Chip has connections everywhere. And so if you need a
Right.
loan in a state where Bay Mountain is not active, he can probably connect you with somebody that can make the loan. So Chip, make sure you put your contact information in there too. And say
Yeah.
thanks to Will and Wayne for your continuing support for the Flipping America RIA. We appreciate you.
And what I'm down here for was for a lender convention. So I met a lot of good new lenders down
Oh,
here that can help us out in those other states. Hey, one more thing real quick.
okay.
So we're just about to have in Georgia and Tennessee the ability for you to start with the fix and flip loan or a new construction. And when you're finished, you can convert it into the rental loan for just a fee. And
Nice.
there will not be a new closing. I'm not exactly sure what that fee is going to be yet, but we've got it in the loan documents for Texas. Now we just got to get somebody a lawyer to put it into the loan docs for Georgia and Tennessee.
All right. So
Right.
30-year fixed rate?
No, we only have a 3 or a 5 year
Oh,
loan, but
your
the
standard
thing that
loans. Okay.
yeah, the thing that would be cool about it is you finish your rehab and you can immediately drop your interest rate. Uh, there, the 3 year loan is 7%, and then the 5 year loan is 7.5%. So you immediately would have that lower rate.
Yep.
You do not have to have a renter in place. There is no prepayment penalty. So you can do short-term rentals like Airbnb while you're waiting or trying to sell it or whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Okay. Can you, if the ARV comes in high enough, can you do a cash out type of refi?
Yeah, it's 75% of the current value.
Okay.
So if you had a loan with us and it was at 70% of the ARV, then obviously that's going to pay that off and have at least cover that fee maybe, and then possibly get you some cash.
Yeah, and something to think about. You buy a house that you can rehab, and then you can do a cash out refinance and use that cash to buy the furniture that you need to turn it into an Airbnb.
Airbnb.
And
Yeah,
so,
that'd be good.
where can you put an Airbnb? More places than you think. You can put them anywhere has a big enough population to need a hotel.
Right.
Think about that, because people want someplace to stay, and Airbnbs are much more desirable for a lot of people than going to a hotel.
It
So
is.
even over there, you guys in Huntsville, Alabama, that are on here right now,
Yeah.
you probably have Airbnbs there. You probably know better than I do, but yeah, you can have them anywhere, just about.
Yeah. We'll be in Huntsville and Birmingham soon, within the next couple of weeks, and Nashville too.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Well, yeah, my agents from Huntsville are on watching. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Thanks, Rod.
thanks, Chip. Appreciate it, man. All right. Let's go back now. Let's talk about get your head in the game. All right. And I promise I'm not going to keep you long, but I do want to try to help you if I can. And I also really I like this to fit right exactly in the frame. So bear with me while I try to make it work. I don't know. It seems like I'm going the wrong way here, not the right way. All this time that we spend going over all this stuff ahead of time, it seems like it's just in vain, right? Let me click here and all right, I give up. We're just going to live with it like this. I already told you the story of what it's like to be a number 2 seed losing to number 15. Boy, I know the agony that those guys are going through. You've worked hard all year. You've had a good season. In my case, you've worked hard 4 years and finally make it to the postseason. And 60 minutes later, you're done. Your career is over. And that's it. Um, but that wasn't the point of that whole story. Not the point of the whole story was I just took that phrase, "Get your head in the game," and I want you to think about what's in our head that gets in the way. And the first thing that comes to my mind is limiting beliefs. And look, you may look at some people that seem like they have their act together, and this is one of the dangers of spending too much time on social media, because you're seeing a carefully curated version of the lives of those people. You're not seeing everything that's going on. But every person out there, myself included, and every person that you see that, as far as the public is concerned, they look like they've really got it together. We all have circumstances. We all have these beliefs that we have to deal with. One of them is blame. If you engage in the blame game, you are automatically limiting yourself. What is the limit? The limit, if you are in a situation, whatever it is, and you can, in your own mind, justifiably blame someone else for the fact that you're in the situation, then you are automatically limited to whatever that other person is able to provide for you or do for you. Think about that. Blame is a limiting belief. How is it limiting about yourself? Basically, blame is a failure to accept responsibility. I talked about my business collapse. Yep, I had one. I made some critically wrong mistakes in a couple of people that I hired. One of them had a almost unimaginable impact on the well-being of my business, and he was a failure. He had been successful at other things he had done for me, but he was a failure in this. And it was very easy for me to say, oh, it's his fault. But I'm the one that hired him. And the only way I could, and the only way that you can fix something like this is to begin accepting responsibility for the decision that you've made. So blame is a limiting belief. And the next one is like it, victimhood. Victimhood, boy, victimhood can make you a lot of money in America today if you're really willing to be the victim and go public and maybe have a viral video about how you're the victim of something. But I don't think that anything really positive comes out of victimhood. If you play the victim card, you may get somebody to feel sorry for you a while, but it doesn't do anything productive. It doesn't create, it doesn't sustain. The only way to sustain your victim status is to continue to sustain it. And what is a victim? A victim is a person who was overpowered. And that means, by definition, a victim is a person who has no power. Is that what you really want to say about yourself? If other people have hurt you, you are not alone. If other people have used you, you're not the only one. If other people have mistreated you, join the crowd. It happens to everyone. The question is, what will you do about it? If you wallow in victimhood and blame, you're never going to fix the issue. The issue may be your own strength. The issue may be your own determination. The issue may be the quality of the decisions that you have made. All of us have been mistreated. All of us have been abused. All of us have been victimized by someone else. I know that if you've ever met me in person, you may find this hard to believe, but when I was in junior high school, I was not the biggest kid around. My growth spurt came in the 9th grade. And there was a boy in the 8th grade who should have been in the 10th grade, but he was dumber than a hammer. And so he had failed a couple of times, and he was a bully. And I don't know why he chose me, but he chose me. And 7th and 8th grade were brutal years of getting picked on. I know people don't pick on me these days, but it happens. I can identify, but you can't let that become what defines you. You have to come up with some other way of thinking about yourself. And we're going to get to that in a minute. Okay, unworthy. This is another thing. We think, well, because of my background or because of the way I was born or the way I performed in school or what I tried to do and learned that I was not good at or the limitations that I seem to have, I am not worthy of the kind of success that others dare to dream for. And, I've dealt with this with my own coaching clients in real estate. One of the exercises we do is we think for a little while about our dream life and our dream income. And it's not that we're automatically going to make those our goals, but we just kind of think outside the box. How far can we go? And I've had a few students who think, because of their upbringing, if they could just get this little bit more, that's all they need. And what it really comes down to is that's all that they think that they're worthy of. When we think that we are unworthy, we are automatically holding ourselves back from reaching our full potential. Well, I'm not enough. And there are a lot of things that you can put in front of the word enough. I am not smart enough. I am not good looking enough. I am not anything tied to your genetic inheritance. Like all teenagers growing up in my era, or most teenagers, I had to deal with acne. And in my case, it was bad. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but I needed braces and my family couldn't afford them. And between those two things, I had zero confidence about asking women out and or asking girls out. And that's just one example of a lot of different things that people everywhere say to themselves. I'm not enough. All right. It's not enough for me to say to you here on this call today, stop it, or get your head in the game, or stop thinking this way. And I'm not going to say that to you. Instead, I'm going to give you some other things to think about. All right. First of all, there's one more. I'm unlovable. And some of you definitely are. But there is something that you could do about being unlovable. And that one's probably the easiest thing on here to fix, is just learn how to be more lovable. All right. Before I get into the positives, I want to talk about a few more limiting beliefs about money, wealth, and investing. I have come across this idea since I was young. It's something that you hear or think that you're hearing at church, and maybe other people just want to believe that money in itself is evil. And I'm telling you right now, it's not true. To be wealthy requires one to be greedy. So the assumption is everyone who is wealthy got there because they're greedy. That is almost, I know for a fact 100% that is not true. Some of the most generous people I've ever met are wealthy, and some of the most greedy people I've ever met are poor. So greed and wealth are not connected pretty much in any way. Rich people are jerks. Guess what? Some rich people are jerks. But some poor people are jerks too, and some rich people are not jerks. Some poor people are not jerks. There is no correlation between one's jerkness and their money. Large company owners are jerks. Same thing. There's no correlation. A few of them are, and maybe they create a bad enough scene and a bad enough reputation that people kind of assume that everyone is, but that's just not true. Real estate investors are vultures. This is one that I've had to deal with specifically in our industry. We make our money by preying on the misfortunes of others. That is an unfortunate way of looking at it because, and you know what? There are some real estate investors that are vultures and they do prey on the misfortunes of others. And it's just like in all these other cases, some are and some are not. But there's no cause and effect correlation here. In fact, there's not even a real correlation. Many people that I know and the approach that I take and the training that I give encourage us to think of ourselves as problem solvers. When we are talking to a distressed homeowner, they have a house that they don't want, inherited and don't want, never wanted, or maybe their situation has changed and this house that they bought for whatever reason has now become a problem and maybe the biggest source of stress in their life, and they just want it gone. And there are ways that we can put together deal structures that get people what they need, and we could still make some money as well. That's not being a vulture. That's solving problems. All right. Where do we get these limiting belief ideas? Where do they come into our lives anyway? Think about this. What percentage of kids in kindergarten are artists? 100%. You sit down and tell those kids to draw a picture of your family, they're going to draw a picture of their family, and they're going to be convinced that it looks like their family. But you know what it really looks like? It really looks like a kindergarten kid drawing stick figures, right? But those kids have not yet come to learn that they have the artistic ability of a 5-year-old. And that's really what it is. It doesn't mean that they don't have artistic ability, but they tend to look at those pictures drawn by a 5-year-old and start to conclude, well, I don't have any artistic ability. So sadly, some of the limiting beliefs that come into our lives come from our own families. Maybe it didn't happen in your family. Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't or did happen in my family. I'm just going to say that some of the things that we believe about ourselves, our own worthiness or our lovableness, or we're not enough, those kinds of things tend to come a lot from our family. And I know family members are not always, it's impossible for anybody to be 100% careful about what they say 100% of the time. But parents have a way of imprinting on their children by delivering a message to them that the children remember, and you never really can tell what they're going to remember. Some of the things my kids tell me that they remember are things I don't even have any recollection we ever had that conversation. And some of the things that I remember are not things that they remember. And so everyone's memory is a little bit faulty, but somehow or another, there's going to be a messaging that goes on. And some of the negative things that you think about yourself came from your family. Some of them came from your education. This is not going to be a philosophical conversation about education, but let me just say this. Education in the United States at the elementary level and to a large degree the secondary level is designed to assess a person's worth and intelligence based on their ability to memorize. If you can spit back out what you heard, basically an exercise in rote memory, then you can do well on the test. And if you do well on the test, then you're considered smart. And that's far from an accurate definition of what smart actually is, but that's the way we can educate masses of students by trying to find the least common denominator way of evaluating, and clearing them through some checkpoint to get to the next level. It's just the ability to memorize certain things. And as you go along a little bit, you start working on some problem solving and developing problem solving skills, but it's mostly rote memorization. And that's unfortunate because there are some really gifted and wonderful and talented people out there who don't memorize well. And there are a lot of people who have done very well in business who did not do well in education. And, history is replete with examples of this. You all know that it's true. But still, we tend to think of ourselves as less than something because we didn't do well with something in school. My own wife's one of the smartest, cleverest people I've ever known, and funny and entertaining, and I love being with her and enjoy her company immensely. But she didn't do well in algebra class in high school, and so we have dealt with this limiting belief. Well, I'm just dumb. Eh, She didn't do well in algebra, so what? It's spatial and abstract reasoning. Not everyone's good at that. That's okay. She is awesome at a bunch of stuff that I'm terrible at. So, in that sense, we balance each other. It's not going to help you to focus on what you're not good at, but that's what education tends to do to us. And then the other thing is our life experiences. We get out there and we try some things. One of the worst things that you can do for your child when they bring home the picture of, that they drew in kindergarten of their family is one of the worst things you can do is say, oh, that doesn't look like us at all. And so the child starts to think, maybe I'm not an artist. But the next worst thing you can do is, oh, that's beautiful. That's great. It looks just like us, because that's not true either. Put it on the picture. I'm glad you put it on the refrigerator. I'm glad you drew it. Let's keep drawing. Find a way to use language to encourage and to build up. Our parents didn't have that training, and maybe we didn't have that training either, but that's the way that we could possibly provide different experiences to encourage the development of skills. Okay, so you didn't get that from your parents, you didn't get that from your family, you didn't get that from your education. Instead, you got things that created these limiting beliefs in you. I get it. That happened to most of us. Okay? I've kind of blasted through the previous section because I wanted to get to this. Here's how you start taking care of this. There are some things I want you to know, some things I want you to believe, and some things I want you to do. Here are the things I want you to know. I'm going to start again. All right. This, you've got to focus in, and you're going to have to tell yourself this a lot while you're developing the habit of better thinking, okay? A thought is just a thought. A feeling is just a feeling. Both are temporary, and neither is automatically true. The next time you say to yourself, oh, I'm not good enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not something enough, I want you to stop, okay? Back up from it and tell yourself this. A thought is just a thought. A feeling is just a feeling. Both are temporary, and neither is automatically true. I don't know whether I'm enough or not. Now, I think I'm going to switch modes here because I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. I want to look you in the eye, and I want to tell you this. All right? There is a pervasive untruth that is going around in the popular culture today, and some of it comes from a mythological interpretation of a Bible verse. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And we take that to believe that we can do all things, but it's not just the Bible verse. It's the little engine that could. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. You know what? That's just not true. You can't do everything. You are not good at everything. Now, I might as well just look in a mirror, because I can't do everything. I'm not good at everything. That's true of all of us. The challenge that we ought to face in our lives is not to believe that by the power of positive thinking we can do something that we cannot. The challenge that we face is to understand that our ceiling is a lot higher than we might think it is. We need to begin with a realistic understanding of where we are right now, and believe, as I'm going to tell you to encourage you in a minute, believe that our ceiling is higher than we think. Our limiting beliefs have us thinking, well, I'm only this good. And really, maybe today we're only this good. But there's a way to push and get this good. And I'm not just talking about in the weight room. I'm not talking about even in what you know. I'm talking also about your capacity to know, your ability to learn. I believe that you can improve your ability to learn. I believe that you can improve your ability to relate. You can improve your ability to do almost anything. And you have a lot more potential than you think. The correct counter to the I can do anything sort of mentality that's out there, which I think is harmful, is not I can do nothing. The correct counter is, oh, I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good at this. I'm not so good at that. And an honest evaluation of your strengths and weaknesses. Now let me get back into the presentation, and if I can find, there we go. And so let's continue on here. Self-evaluation. I think that, of course, self-evaluation is important. That almost goes without saying, and maybe it should be said. But I think that you're on this call. You're probably already engaging in some degree of self-evaluation. But self-evaluation is also limited. The Dunning-Kruger effect is this is a study done by a couple of researchers on incompetence. And what they discovered was people who are incompetent lack the ability to recognize competence. Well, when you think about it, it almost goes without saying. But people who lack competence tend to think of themselves as competent because they don't recognize true competence. I know that's using the word competent a lot, but anyway, the Dunning-Kruger effect is something inside of us that keeps us from automatically having the most accurate perception of our strengths and weaknesses. We do need to be thinking about it on our own, but we also need to bring in someone from the outside, someone that we have given permission to tell us where we're good and where we're not. You know, all of the best athletes in the world still have coaches, even though they know what to do. But when you're out there in the middle of doing it, you can't see everything around you. You can't see everything, and you can't see the little things that you may have slipped up and started doing wrong. And so we need coaches around us who see a little bit of the bigger picture and see us a little bit more objectively. So outside evaluation can be helpful, and I encourage you to bring someone into your life for just that role. That's where masterminds are a fantastic thing, to be around people that you consider your peer, but who also can push you into higher levels of performance. Then consider your sources. When you're thinking these things about yourself, and when you're giving yourself a hard time because of whatever, consider your sources. Education, family experiences, media, and I also include social media, pop culture, etc. Where are you getting the idea that you're not enough? Where are you getting the idea that you cannot do it? Where are you getting these ideas? Well, then ask yourself, how much do I trust the media? How much do I trust pop culture? How much do I trust family experiences? And how much do I trust education? The answer to all that should be not much. All right. There are other things that you need to trust when you're taking an honest assessment of yourself. Here are some things I want you to believe about yourself. Okay. I have strengths, weaknesses too, but I have strengths. There is something that you are good at. There is something that you can do, probably more than one thing. And I want you to believe that you have those strengths, and I want you to be thinking about those strengths. Next, I will work toward minimal competence on my weaknesses and then staff to them. As you're building your life and building your business, when you understand what you're not good at, then, look, if you take a rabbit and a duck and, say, a crow, and you put them in a foot race, you're never going to get the duck and the crow to really perform very well in the foot race. The rabbit's always going to win. But if it's a swimming race, then the duck's going to win. And of course, if you're going to fly, then the crow's the only one that can even participate. So we all have our limitations. We all have our strengths. In life and business, we need to work enough on our weaknesses and our weak areas so that we can't use them as excuses. Some days I have to put my hat on that says details and paperwork. and I have to do details and paperwork. I don't enjoy that thing, but that's my life some days. And so we just have to do what we have to do. And as soon as you can, you hire someone else to address those weaknesses, maybe someone who's strong in those areas where you are weak. I'll design my workflows to take full advantage of my strengths. I did a strategy call, it's been a couple of years ago now, with a gentleman who was trying to be a wholesaler. And he was clearly uncomfortable to be on the call. He was nervous. He was a little bit afraid, I felt like, and shy. And so I asked him how he felt about people. He said, "Oh, I don't like them. I hate people. I have a hard time talking to people. I had a hard time even following through and getting on this call, and I'm the one that scheduled it with you." I said, "Okay. Well, you know, if you want to be a wholesaler, probably one of the biggest skills you're going to need is the ability to talk with people and talk with total strangers." And in the end, as a result of that phone call, we set a different course for him as a real estate investor where he was not having to talk to people all the time. Okay. It's just a matter of understanding. Okay. Strengths and weaknesses. In life and also in real estate investing, there's plenty of room for everybody to win. There doesn't have to be one winner and a bunch of losers. Everyone can win. There are deals enough for everyone. We can celebrate our friends getting a great deal on Lake Jodeco because there are other deals out there. I know it doesn't seem like there's a lot of deals to be found right now, but there are plenty out there. All right, here's the things more things I want you to believe. I'm going to learn, and then I'm going to go. I'm going to adjust, and I'm going to go. And I'm not going to quit. If you're feeling deficient, if you're feeling short, if you're feeling like you don't have enough or you're not enough, go get what you need. Go learn what you need. And then I'm going to act on that. And it may not be right, but I'm going to adjust and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to keep trying and I'm not going to give up. I am unique. My job is to maximize me, not live by someone else's template. This is kind of a difficult one. It's easy to say, but it's a difficult one to believe because some of us have spent so much of our life trying to live by the template that we thought would be a good life. We don't really know what we want. We don't know who we are. So it's going to take some time to understand. And the end person or the person that you end up wanting to be may not be that much different than the person that you are now. But it's good to be in your own skin with your own thoughts and not necessarily throwing away, for example, the faith of your fathers, but if you're going to share that faith, embrace it and understand it fully. Don't be a Baptist just because you were always a Baptist. Don't be a Muslim just because you were always a Muslim. Think through your life. Think what it is you want to be, what you want to believe, and what you actually truly are. Think honestly about that. Okay. I may follow a proven path to success. That's one thing I stress and I teach, but I treasure the unique differences in me. Even though there is a specific way, if you want to be a house flipper and work your way into a full-time real estate investing career, there's a specific way that I teach that you do this. Your experience is going to vary and your personality is going to make it different, and everyone follows a little bbit different course. I did a coaching call yesterday with one of my high-level clients, and she is taking a kind of a different path. And it's actually really cool because she's had a great idea that she wants to bring to market. And I think if she succeeds in that, it's going to be a pretty terrific thing. It's going to meet the needs of a lot of real estate investors. And so even though she's going down the fix and flip path and buying cash flow properties and that sort of thing, now she's been presented with another opportunity, which is unique. And that's the way it's going to be and the way it should be. Here's something else I want you to believe. I am enough for what is right in front of me. Whether you want to call it the hand of God or the force of the universe or karma or whatever you call it, I tend to think of it as the divine will of God. But I believe that whatever is in front of you, you are enough to handle it. The you that you are right now is enough. So keep stepping forward because you're enough. And as you step forward and you walk through what appears to be the most difficult thing in your life, to start asking yourself this: if I can do this, what else is possible? In the weight room, in the brain room, in any room, the business room, the relationship room, whatever room you're in, growth is possible if I'm willing to push. That means try your hardest and then harder still. Work out your muscles or your brain to the point of exhaustion and then keep on pushing, keep on working. You will find that your capacity will increase in whatever area it is, in life, in business, and love, and in your ability to relate to people, whatever it is. Growth is possible if you're willing to push. So here are some things to do. The first thing, when you encounter one of these situations where you tend to think, and I said this already, where you tend to think, oh, this is not going to work out, this is not me, I'm not good enough for this, is just pause. You know what pause is? Pause is when you hit the red button on the treadmill and it starts slowing down, or you're pausing your stationary bike ride at the gym, right? It doesn't completely stop. But after you pause and you've gone into slow down mode, then stop. Just come to a dead stop. Before you let yourself start telling yourself those negative things like, I'm tense, coach. I'm not playing well, coach. I don't know. I know my head's not in the game, but I don't know how to get my head in the game. Stop. Just stop. All right. Think about it for a minute. Reflect on it. Whether it's a game or it's life, reflect and understand that the beliefs that are holding you back are not necessarily true. I can't get an open shot. Well, I mean, I'm 5 inches taller than that guy. I can get an open shot. Or I don't understand the math to do this particular business transaction. Well, you may not understand it fully, but you can keep pushing your brain till you understand it enough. And if you just really can't get there, find a friend who does fully understand it and bring them along as a partner. If the deal's that important to you to do, okay? Look for evidence. Look for evidence that supports your abilities, the things that you're good at, and affirmation and rates of success. Take back your power. That is, stop blaming the outside world. This may be the biggest thing I would encourage you to do, is just take the power, take responsibility for your life. Stop letting life happen to you, and instead you turn around and happen to life. Here's another one. Ask for help. It's not a blow to your ego. It shouldn't be a blow to your ego or to your pride to ask someone else for help, because realistically, no one can do everything. No one knows everything. All of us need a little help from time to time. And then the most important thing I can say to you today is to take action. First, pause, then stop, then reflect. But don't stay there. Don't stay stopped. Think things through and then take action. Maybe take a screenshot of this right here and then take action and get on with your life. All right. I've seen some comments go by. I haven't been catching all of them. I don't see any questions in the comments, but I just wanted to take a minute and encourage you all today to do something more. And some of you are hitting on all cylinders, I'm sure, and I'm glad for it, and I appreciate that. But maybe if you're here because you feel like something's holding you back, I want you to keep in mind that whatever's holding you back is probably right here between your ears. And if you can get your thoughts straight, maybe rewatch this. If you email me, I'll send you the presentation. It's not copyrighted or anything. I'm here to help. You can schedule a strategy call with me. And or if you're already in business and you want an hour-long consultation call, you can do both those from my website. And I'll sit with you and I'll help you. I'll talk to you personally and we'll see if we can sort it out. Okay? Thanks everybody for joining us today. We're back tomorrow night with Bill Jennings and lines of credit for your business. We'll see you then.